Good evening, class. So if you missed today's lecture or need a repeat about what to do, please continue watching this. However, if you have all of your notes in and have done your homework, then you don't need to watch this. All right, so we have been working on equations. So today we're going to talk about two-step equations. The biggest thing here is we've already written down this I can. And the I can is I can solve simple one-step and two-step linear equations. So in class, we talked about the different order of operations, things that we'll be using in class, but I want you to understand something really important. You need to write in parentheses, exponent, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction for your PEMDAS. So I have written out some examples of each type of thing. So in parentheses, you'll see here, I have what we typically think of parentheses, but these brackets are also considered parentheses. These are called absolute value. We learned about them last year, but we'll be doing more with them this year. So again, absolute value symbols are also a form of parentheses. Now exponents is when we have a large number as the base, and then this little dude up here is called the exponent. Division, we have the division symbol, and sometimes our calculators do a fraction like this or a fraction like that. So now we also have our multiplication. We are in 8th grade. We are using the dot for our multiplication symbol. Sometimes multiplication looks like 3x when they're just sitting next to each other like this. And sometimes our multiplication actually involves a parentheses, but there's nothing going on inside the parentheses. So what we're talking about is right here between the 4 and the parentheses is a little multiplication sign. And then of course our addition and our subtraction. So as we go through this, it's also really important to understand this statement right here. When solving for a variable, you do backwards PEMDAS. And I know I taught you guys this last year, but for those of you who are new, we start out with parentheses and exponents and seeing if we can simplify there. But then we jump down to subtraction and then work our way slowly up. Also moving from left to right. So remember, I'm going to say backwards PEMDAS, and this is the structure I'm using. So here is a foolproof way of going about this. So first it says, step 1, find the variable and put a box around it. So these are 3 examples you have at the bottom of your note page. And I'm looking at the first one and I say, all right, well, I have 8a here, 3y here. Pause and try to do the next one without me. And 7b there. Great, step 1, done. All right, well, step 2. Now circle the number next to the variable, but not in the box with the variable. And don't forget its sign. So a lot of people, when they're doing this, will just circle the 2. No, no, no. I want you to circle the plus sign with the 2 because that tells me that the 2 is positive. We have a positive 3 on this problem and a negative 7 on this problem. Pause the video and get this down. Now, the third step is to do the inverse operation to the circled number. So again here, we're looking at that first one, the 8a plus 2. The circled number is the plus 2. So I think about what is the inverse operation of plus 2? Oh, well, that's minus 2. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side. Now think about the next one, 3y plus 3. I see that in the circle I have 3 to positive 3, so I'm going to minus 3 on both sides. And then the last one, I see I have a negative 7, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Okay, pause and get down any information you need. Now, so I'm going to erase that for just a second. So this step is the cleanup step. This is the step where I like to draw that line and talk about what is left over. Well, the 2 minus 2 cancels out to 0. If I type 2 minus 2, I'm going to get 0. So I'm left with, on that side of the equation, 8a. And then over here on this side of the equation, the right side, I have 10 minus 2. Well, that gives me 8. So that's what the cleanup side means. It's kind of do the work, simplify it down a little bit to see what you end up with. And as you can see here, I still have that, I'm still using that box to kind of help me, all right? So try the next two without my help. Pause the video and do that. All right, check your work. I have gone through and done each of this cleanup stage for those problems. And I've erased the other side. All right, step 5. Step 5 is look at the variable and the box. Do the inverse operation to the variable and to the other side of the equation to solve. So right here, I only have the cleanup stage. On yours, you're going to have a column of work. But on mine, because of how the computer works, I could only do the cleanup stage. So I have here just 8a equals 8. I'm thinking through what we just talked about with order of operations, and I know that when I have a number next to a letter, it really means multiplication. So opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides. And then I get a equals 1. All right, try the next two without my help. All right, so I have gone through and solved each of those with showing my work. Now, on your back of your paper, you have these 4 problems. We did them in class. We did the first few of them, but I actually want to pause the video and actually go to one of the homework questions we also did in class. All right, so here's the homework. It's called Homework Solve the Two-Step Equations. Question 1 is very much like what we were doing just a second ago. But question 2 is where I think we're going to have a little bit of a hiccup, and I want to address that. So I'm going to do PEMDAS. Okay. Do I have any parentheses? I do. Can I simplify anything inside those parentheses? No. So I've done that. All right. Do I have any exponents? No. So now I go to subtraction. Well, I have subtraction here, but there's something more importantly happening that I have to deal with. So subtraction at this point doesn't work. I actually have to go through the entire PEMDAS and go, well, I have this and I have multiplication because I see the -8 next to those parentheses. Well, whenever you have this situation, what you're going to do is use the distributive property to distribute that 8 into the rest of this equation. So I will do that really quickly. I have -8 times 3, that's -24. -8 times -1s, that gives me -8s. And then we didn't do anything with the other side because the parentheses end and the equal sign happens, so it's just 32. So now I can go through and solve it like before, and I go, all right, now I can deal with this subtraction. So I say right here, I have a -24. I'm going to box things in real quick, just so my brain can see what I'm doing. I'm going to circle. Okay, so now I'm dealing with the circle first. I'm going to -24 on both sides. I'm going to add 24, excuse me, to both sides. That gives me -8s. This is the cleanup stage. Now I'm going to look at right here. It's negative 8s. That's multiplication, so the opposite of multiplication is division. Now the negative 8 does have to come along. So now I have s equals negative 7. So in my computer I type negative 7. All right, class, that is all for us tonight. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.